welcome to Be Continued. We're your host. I'm Christian.
I'm Caleb.
I'm Riley.
Today's episode, we're going to go over 4 topics. The first topic is we're going over division winners. So I'm going to name down some division winners. When you guys hear something that sounds stupid, debatable, something you don't disagree with, just say something. So we're going to start off in the NFC. I got the Eagles winning the NFC East. Any disagreements? Next, I have the Falcons winning the NFC South.
Okay, that's foolishness.
Yeah, I have the Saints winning that.
I'm not saying that can't happen. All I'm saying is the Falcons have a defense. And
I mean, have you seen
Bijan Robinson? I will say I don't see Desmond Ridder making it the whole season. I just have a belief that Heineke somehow would be decent.
All I'm saying is, have you seen the steroids that they pumped Derek Carr with in Louisiana? Dude, that's a different human there.
I'm just going to say stacked quarterbacks don't mean you're a good quarterback.
The
best quarterbacks usually don't have big muscles. I'm just saying.
Derek Carr is the best quarterback in that division, though, by a pretty wide
He just
margin.
came from other than the Broncos. He just came from the tightest division for quarterbacks, I feel like.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's going to a division
I
where
had them
there's
finishing second.
I think it'll be very close. I don't know.
Like in my prediction, I had the Falcons at 9-8, Saints at 8-9.
I think
it could easily.
I think the Falcons' success is really going to depend on whether Bijan Robinson has a really good rookie season or like a normal rookie season.
This is what has me confused with them, though. The running back situation, yeah, Bijan Robinson, he can be great, but they have 2 other great running backs. They had that rookie running back last year who almost had 1,000 yards, and they still had Cordell Patterson.
Yeah, that's.
All right, but the next one, I think we'll all agree on this. Niners winning the NFC West.
I have that, yeah, but I didn't think Caleb would.
Who's he going to have, the Rams?
Yeah.
He hasn't gone that
Don't sell us out. Remember 2 years ago?
I got y'all second.
2 years ago, before the season started, I said the Rams are going to win the Super Bowl. Sure enough, they won the Super Bowl.
Fair enough.
And then I believe this one will definitely cause probably a little bit of debate. Maybe not. NFC North, I have the Lions.
I have the Vikings, but I also was considering the Lions. I feel like it could go either way.
I think that division's a toss-up. It could be any of the three.
Yeah.
It could be,
I think it definitely could.
I'm not going to sell the Packers out either.
Yeah, I think it definitely could go between any of those teams, other than the whoever they are.
Packers have got a good defense too.
They do.
Yeah.
And it's really just, is Jordan Love adequate? Because I'm not sure. I
think it's also going to depend on whether the Vikings can keep the reputation of being choke artists. Or what? Because they have a good team. I've been watching clips of their practices. They have been dominating all their practices and all of most of their preseasons.
Brian Flores.
And they're doing great. But the thing is, when it comes to the regular season, are they going to keep up that momentum, or are they going to?
Well, here's why I don't see them being as great this year as they were last year. They were 12-1 in one-possession games, including the playoffs. That doesn't happen year to year. Sometimes you're great in one-possession games. Sometimes you lose out on the one-possession games. It's a very risky game to play being in a one-possession game every single time. It doesn't work out that way. So our next division we're going to go to is the AFC South. Jacksonville.
Yeah, I got Jacksonville.
Best quarterback, best coach.
Yeah, but I also...
Vrabel maybe could be in consideration for best coach in that division, but outside of that, it's between those 2 teams.
Hard to put a lot of faith in Ryan Tannehill. And, I mean, the Titans are always going to go as Derrick Henry stays healthy.
Well, Derrick Henry, and they also have D-Hop now.
Yeah,
that was a stupid move.
I agree, but they are bringing in a pretty big name receiver to replace where A.J. Brown was. So, I mean, it could go good for them, but it also could go terribly.
And then the next division, I got Buffalo winning their division. I could see maybe New England. I can't see New England. Let me not lie about that one. But New York, I got to see more. Miami, too, has to stay healthy.
That's what I thought about both of those. Is I want to see more. I want to see more of Aaron Rodgers with his new team, and I want to see more of the Dolphins as the Dolphins, because they have the potential to be good, but it just depends on them.
Yep. And then next division, I got Kansas City winning their division. The only team in that division that could maybe threaten them is L.A., but you can't trust the Chargers. It's the Chargers.
No, it's Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl again. So.
And then here's the division that I know we're going to have some
player of all
disagreements
time.
in. The best division in football at the moment, most competitive division. When I was doing my predictions, no team in this division has under 10 wins. I have Cleveland winning this division. I know. Say what you must.
Huh?
Bro. I'm telling you, don't be shocked.
Why do you have Cleveland winning?
Why? All
Yeah.
right. So they got Jim Schwartz, defense coordinator.
I'm more confused how there's all of those teams have 10 wins.
All right, let's name the teams.
Because I think they're all pretty mid.
I think the only 2 teams...
Baltimore is a good team.
Yeah.
Average.
Cincinnati is a good team. Pittsburgh is a good team.
Average. I'm not a believer in Pickett.
I'm not a believer in Pittsburgh because I don't think Najee Harris is going to do
Pittsburgh's
nearly as
guaranteed
much as
going
he
to
did
get 9
last year.
games.
I'm just not a big Pickett guy.
What about Pickens? I feel bad for those announcers, by the way. Pickett to Pickens. I don't think I could say that a million times a game. It won't happen a million times a game, but we shall see.
It's true.
So who do you guys have in winning this division?
I have the Bengals just because they have the best quarterback by far in the division. I think Lamar Jackson's coming off of just arguing with his team and then not playing for most of last season. So I mean, I'm not saying that he's not going to do good, but I just don't think he's going to be on the level of Burrow as right now.
Plus OBJ, I don't think he's gonna
plus
last
OBJ.
till week 4.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And is Lamar going to be healthy at the end of the season?
Yeah, is Lamar going to be able to stay healthy all season?
It's been 3 or 4 years since he has been, so I find it hard to believe that he is.
Yeah, and I mean the Steelers are like the Steelers. I feel like they're going to be kind of there, but they're not going to put up a fight to win the division. And then Cleveland, I just don't think Cleveland has what it takes to compete with the other 3.
I will preference this by saying the reason I think Cleveland's going to be good is based off what I've seen in preseason and I've heard out of Browns training camp.
He loves Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson
why.
has sounded like he's getting closer to 2020 form. He's not at 2020 form, but if they can just, I'm not even saying he has to be great. If he can just be slightly above average, the Browns are a good team. They have the talent on that roster to make noise.
You know what?
Because Nick Bosa, as good as he is, you know who's the best edge rusher in the NFL? Myles Garrett. Has you know what he averages in his career? A sack per game. No other player in the league can claim that.
Yeah, but I feel like
And he's never had a defense coordinator like Jim Schwartz.
I'm just saying what I just heard you say from quote from Deshaun Watson is that the same thing I heard another athlete say, Ben Simmons, that his self now could beat his last year self, could kill him. So I just want to see what Ben Simmons of the football
I'm
field
just
will
looking
do.
forward to him coming back to Philly because he's open to being a Sixer again. So
I'm just going to say this. I think Cleveland's in for a happy ending.
wow,
Okay.
wow, disgusting.
I'm sorry. I
right,
think that
that's-
was pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. All right, we're going to move on to our next topic.
Practice that one.
These are the dark horse and disappointment teams. We're going to do 2 teams from the AFC and 2 teams from the NFC. Riley, I'll let you start.
I have 2 teams in total for my dark horses. I have the Saints being a dark horse just because they have a debatably better team than last year. I just think that they're going to do what they did last year and more. And that's just enough for them to get them to playoffs, and then that's where you just take off and go. And then I also have the Lions because of their possibility to win the NFC North. I think that they could be a dark horse, and if they win the NFC North, then I think they could make a deep playoff run for the NFC side.
So is there any dark horse AFC team that you might think could be better than they sound like they could be?
No, because, I mean, the Jets, everybody's hyping the Jets up, and if they fail, then
They're going to fail.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that.
Yeah, I can't even call the Jets a dark horse team.
I just don't.
because
I just don't think that there's any AFC teams that are going to compete with the likes of the Bengals, the Chiefs, and I just don't like all the teams that went to the playoffs from the AFC last season are probably going to be back.
Well, the thing I have again, this is just what the numbers say. Every year, out of the 14 teams that make the playoffs, there's 7 new ones. 50% of the team. It's going to be a 50% new thing.
Yeah.
In both conferences.
I think I think a dark horse and a disappointment for me will be the Texans. So I think that the Texans have a chance to do something in playoffs, but I also think that they're going to disappoint me in every way possible.
I think you're going to be in for disappointment, buddy, because I want to see them winning more than 3 games.
Yeah, I don't know that I'd call them a dark.
So who do you have for your other disappointment?
They're definitely like
My other
rebuilding.
disappointment, honestly, I think the Jets would be my other disappointment because of how much hype they're getting from ESPN, how much hype they're getting from every analyst you can think about because Aaron Rodgers is there. And granted, Aaron Rodgers is one of the best quarterbacks ever. So, I
all
mean,
time.
but he's going to the Jets, and the Jets have been historically the worst team in any sports franchise.
I agree.
So, I mean,
Caleb, 2 dark horses, 2 disappointments.
All right, dark horse number 1.
Oh, jeez.
My guys here, the Los Angeles Rams. Keep sleeping on them. Keep sleeping on them.
I have second in division.
Youngest, I think second youngest roster in the league actually somehow, even though the Rams had like a 14-man draft class and they kept them all. So, and I don't know if it's it doesn't look pretty on
I'll
paper.
say this: if the Rams make the playoffs, Sean McVay deserves Coach of the Year.
Yeah, and I think I could see the Rams sneak. I don't mean dark horse as in like this is going to be a Super Bowl year. I mean dark horse as in like this could be a playoff team. They could get a playoff game. They could be somebody like kind of like last year's Lions that people like didn't really want to play down the end of the season. So I think I consider the Rams a dark horse. Maybe I'm just a fanboy. I might be. And my other one, I'm going to say, also from the NFC, I'm going to say the Chicago Bears.
Oh.
Because I think Justin Fields is going to be like, I don't think he's going to be a great like throw the football, but I think he's going to be a playmaker. And you got him DJ Moore now.
So.
And they also they just made enough moves that I think.
Could you say maybe they could have like that 2019 Ravens kind of vibe to them?
Kind of, yeah. And they upgraded their defense.
Yeah.
Like they did a really nice move. When they traded Roquan, instead of re-signing him, they got 2 guys instead, like basically with the same money and the pick. So I think that was a really good move. So we're just doing
dark horse. Then I need 2 disappointments.
Dark horse, I already did my 2 dark horses, right?
Oh, you did your 2 dark horses.
Yeah.
Right. So I need disappointments.
Yeah, 2 disappointments.
Disappointments. Well, I feel like you can't even call this a disappointment. Los Angeles Chargers. Because everybody just thinks, I don't even know that everybody's thinking that they're going to be that good this year, but I just don't. I'm not a believer in them.
Who did they draft? I can't remember.
Quentin Johnston, the TC
That's right. They did draft
Yeah.
one wide receiver. I thought so.
The thing is, Big Ten receivers never work in the NFL. It's very rare that they do. Sometimes they do, but it's very rare.
But also, he is behind. He is also next to Keenan Allen, and there is a chance that Keenan Allen
and Mike Williams too.
Yeah,
So
there's a chance that it could get rubbed off on him, and he has a chance.
He doesn't have to be number 1.
No, and they still have Joshua Palmer. Anyway, continue.
Okay, and then so my other disappointment, I think I would say, and this is just like I'm not saying that this team's not going to make the playoffs or that this team is going to be terrible. I think a disappointment is potentially the Philadelphia Eagles because they got a lot of hype right now, and a lot of people's picked to go to the Super Bowl, and it's hard to lose the Super Bowl and come back the next year and be really good.
They're sitting right now at the 2nd power ranking, right behind the Chiefs.
Yeah, and right now, everybody's looking at them as everybody in the NFC is looking at the Eagles as that's the top dog. That's who we're coming after, and so they're going to get that every week. Everybody's going to bring their best to play the Eagles, and I mean, I still think the Eagles can get in the playoffs because I don't think the NFC is that strong.
See, but I think their challenge is going to be the 49ers this year because the 49ers hopefully are coming back as a healthy team, a better team, and with a better defense this time. And I think that it's going to be a dogfight for that one.
It'll be interesting to see as well, how the Eagles lost some guys in free agency.
They lost 11 starters. That's the most in the National Football
League. And they've done a nice job drafting the last couple of years in terms of names and in terms of Mel Kiper Jr.'s picks. But we haven't seen them on the field yet. So maybe they were just really smart and they were ahead. And if so, hats off to Howie Roseman. I mean, I think we can all forgive the Jalen Reagor pick. Well,
did you? I saw.
Not all of us, but.
I can't be against that pick because when I was.
No, I said it was dumb from the moment when I watched Justin Jefferson in that national championship game. The eye test can show you this is one of the best players on the field. This is one of the best players at this position.
I didn't really watch my first college football game until 2020, so that was before Jefferson came out. So when we were going to that draft, I just was watching highlights. I was like, oh, Jalen Reagor, he looks like a deep bomb. I'm not realizing Big Ten and SEC is a huge difference.
Yeah, basically Tutu Atwell.
It really worse. I'd take Tutu Atwell every day over Jalen.
Well, I think the Rams actually did a nice, not to get us too off track, they did a smart with by Tutu Atwell and not letting him expose himself when he wasn't ready.
Yes. And I see what they were trying to do when they brought in Deshaun.
That's my dark horse MVP candidate.
A wide receiver? A kicker's one MVP, but never a receiver. That is hilarious, by the way.
Ain't gonna be Matt Gay.
Until Travis Hunter comes in the NFL. Book that. Anyway, we were talking about that with the Eagles, though, because we've brought that up over the months, how their draft class, while it does have big names, I'm hesitant to say, it's one of the best draft classes over the last 2 years because they haven't played games. Jordan Davis, he's a freak.
When he's on the field.
No, he's a freak of nature physically. When he's on the field, last year when he was on the field, he was pedestrian.
See, but I think he was only there for 5 or 6 games, actually there.
But
I don't remember him being there.
Exactly.
He didn't jump off the screen at all.
That's why and then Carter, out of everybody they drafted, Carter's going to be good. Baby Rhino is going to pull off. That's actually a great nickname that the Philadelphia natives have given to him, and I actually think it's going to stick. But the ones I don't agree with, who I don't think are going to be as good as everybody's thinking they will be, I don't think Sidney Brown's going to be this all-elite safety. Some people are trying to say he's the next Brian Dawkins. I'm like, what are you talking about? And then we're coming in with Keely Ringo, who, hey, he's athletic. The dude couldn't stop a nosebleed.
He was what was he, third or fourth round pick? Like
Yeah. But
good value theoretically, but everybody let him drop for a reason.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I thought, like, this pains me. I thought Nakobe Dean was going to be the steal of the draft last year. We didn't really see him do anything yet. So.
And this is what concerns me with that. He was playing in training camp, and then they brought in Miles Jack and Zach Cunningham. Now, Miles Jack retired, but why are you bringing in 2 linebackers when we think Nakobe Dean's the answer? But anyway, I'm going to move on to my dark horses and disappointments. So in the NFC, my disappointment is Chicago. I could be wrong. The reason I have them as a disappointment, though, I don't trust Justin Fields with his arm.
I just don't see how you can call him a disappointment because I feel like the bar's not very, like, the expectations aren't very high.
In the media, it is. They keep calling Justin Fields the next MVP. They have him as the third best odds to win MVP. They have them as the favorite outside of the Lions to win that division.
They are giving the Bears some hype. I don't think they have as much
I don't
hype
watch
as
ESPN.
Somebody said in the media that Justin Fields is better than Jalen Hurts, and I was like,
I don't think they're giving him.
I think he's more athletically gifted than Jalen Hurts.
I'll give you that, but quarterback, like he was trying to say he's a better quarterback just flat out, and I was like, I can't give you that. My dark horse team, I think we both went this route. Of course, I have my team going 8-9 because I got to see what Sam Howell is, but there is a chance that they do explode because we do have talent. No matter what anybody wants to say, we have talent. And Eric Bieniemy, say this how it must, he's going to prove people wrong. And if doesn't have a head coaching job by the end of the year, something's wrong. But he will in Washington, D.C., because after the season, Ron Rivera will be resigning.
I'm getting some deja vu from last year when you said that he would have a job by the end of the season. If he didn't, something was wrong.
Hey, the Andy Reid excuse is gone now. Nobody can use that now. That was their only pushing point. Hey, Andy Reid's the coach. He makes the plays. You can't give him a job. Even though Doug Peterson, Matt Nagy, they'd like to have different things. But we'll move on from that. My dark horse team in the AFC, as you guys already could guess, it's the Browns. We've already been through this. I'm not going to elaborate too much on that. Disappointment's Miami. Everybody's high on Miami, and I want to say I am too. Last year, while you two both, remember this, you two were both hesitant on Miami. I was all go. I was like, I like Mike McDaniel. I think he's going to be able to push it with Tua and Tyreek. And this year, I'm like, I don't feel too much.
It's a fun group of receivers with Tyreek Hill and
it does,
Jalen Waddle.
But the thing, there's too much noise coming from there. Ramsey got hurt, and they keep coming out, oh, we're a dream team. I keep hearing this statement. I'm like, last team that said they're a dream team, you know how that winded up. 8-8 and didn't make the playoffs.
I would have liked if they'd added Dalvin Cook.
That would have been the move that would have said they're just not a disappointment. They need a running back, and I have Raheem Mostert in fantasy. I think he'll be good, but he's not to the Dalvin Cook level good.
No,
Dalvin Cook's a game changer.
And probably what they're thinking is a little bit of like what Tyreek Hill does is similar to a running game. Like Tyreek Hill makes you stay honest in the box, right? Like because you can double off to Tyreek Hill and he's open in space, and that's more difficult to stop than a runner, you know. So I think you don't need as great of a running game when you've got guys like that, but I do think they could stand to be better than just Mostert, who's also been pretty brittle too. Like it's hard to count on him to.
Yeah. From what I've seen is that their offensive line seems to be better than last year, so hopefully they can give Tua a little bit more protection and actually time to throw the ball. But that's just something we'll have to wait and see for.
The thing that scares me the most with that team out of everything is their backup quarterback. Tua, his history says it going back to high school. He's not going to play a full season. He's going to miss 3 or 4 games.
Bulked up a little bit.
He has.
Been in the weight room.
He's even gotten a new helmet. But everybody's like, he trained how to fall. You're not when you're not.
He should play with that practice helmet, the foam one.
Oh, I
he
really
might as
hope
well. I would rather him play a full season and wear that stupid helmet than have him get hurt again.
But I have them going 8-9. Their schedule is ridiculous. I don't know if you guys have seen their schedule. It's ridiculous. They could shock me, not shock me. They could be good, but it preferences on if Tua's healthy. And at this point, if I'm a betting man, I'm not putting my money on Tua. I can't. So we're gonna move on.
You know who we haven't mentioned at all in these 2 NFL topics? Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, we have.
We only took them as
Who mentioned the Bills?
division winners. I think
division winners,
we took them as a division winner, but
That's
we haven't.
it. Like we haven't talked about them at all.
I feel like they're
They
gonna.
also lost Leslie Frazier.
I feel like what they're gonna do is I just feel like they're gonna do either what the Bills normally do, and they're just kind of gonna coast out on top of the division, or at least for 1 or 2, and then they're just gonna get to playoffs and then put their heads down and try and make their push, which it never really works.
Part of me wonders if Josh Allen really has what it takes to finish the game.
That's fair.
That he has that killer instinct. Like, not everybody has. You know, Tom Brady finishes. Patrick Mahomes has finished. Matthew Stafford had to finish because Cam Akers handed the ball away in 3 or 4 times. So I'm interested. I would like to see him do that because I think Josh Allen's a cool guy.
Josh Allen to me has, and I've told
Fun
you
guy
guys
to watch.
He's kind of a combination. He reminds me of Cam Newton, physicality-wise, but the way he plays in the pocket reminds me of an early Carson Wentz. I'm not saying that Carson Wentz.
I knew Carson Wentz was going to come up.
But the reason I say it's not because it's fun to watch. It's because of what he does. There's some plays where he'll make and it's like, oh my goodness. And then the next play, you're like, what are you doing? Don't throw into quadruple coverage. Are you stupid? How are you making this much money?
We should add a segment to this podcast that every time Christian mentions Carson Wentz, we get to shoot him on camera with the Nerf gun.
I'm just saying that if you showed our podcast,
Comment if you want to see that.
if you showed our podcast to somebody
Who doesn't watch the NFL, they would think Carson Wentz was an MVP candidate and a Hall of Famer.
I said before injury. That's what I said.
Yeah. We're just giving you a hard time, Chris.
It's not ludicrous. You can't say there's not similarities. Prime Wentz, not this Wentz that I had the last 3 years. That was
He's a big, strong guy.
an FBS
corn-fed
quarterback.
Corn-fed.
Corn-fed boy. I mean, I would like to see him be able to actually be in control of the game. He just kind of seems to be the quarterback. He doesn't seem to do what these big name quarterbacks are doing and take control of it and just completely decimate the other team.
So this is my take, though. But everybody wants to now put Hurts above Allen. I would still be hesitant on that because as great as Allen is, or as great as Hurts is as well, you can't tell me Hurts hasn't had more talent around him than Allen. I mean, Allen's had talent around him, nowhere near the level of Hurts. Allen's never had a top 15 offensive line. He just makes up for it because of his mobility.
Yeah.
But we'll get into these quarterbacks a little more in a second because we're going to go into game predictions, and we're not going to do every single game. We're going to do the 5 prime time games of the week.
Yeah.
So our first game, of course, is tomorrow night's Lions at Chiefs. Chiefs are 4.5-point favorites, and there's a 52.5 over/under. That means combination of the two scores.
Yeah. I think
So you guys can go ahead and give predictions.
I think that the Chiefs are going to win.
I think,
Oh, let me preference this by saying Travis Kelce is questionable and likely
Yeah.
out.
yeah, but I still think the Chiefs are going to win.
Their run game with Pacheco and McKinnon is one to look at. I mean, I don't know if there's a full run team like that. Like you have the stars, but whatever. The Lions, I mean, they're good, but I just don't think they're going to have what it takes to stop this bull of the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, and they're coming off a Super Bowl win, a comeback Super Bowl win that I guess in the eyes of the media they shouldn't have won. But like as you got into the game because Patrick Mahomes was hurt and whatever. So I mean they're gonna come into this game and they're just gonna try and make the statement right away. I mean the Chiefs normally start off pretty slow, and I'm thinking this season they're gonna want to do something different.
They start every season pretty fast. Mahomes has never lost in September. Oh, he's only lost one game in September. I'm sorry.
I thought they started to start to slow down after the first couple of weeks.
So their record so far, November and September, Mahomes is 19-1. October, he's pretty much 500. And November and December, he's lights out.
Yeah. So I mean, I feel like it's obvious the Chiefs are gonna win, but I don't want to say that the Lions are gonna get decimated.
So what do you have for score?
for score, I'd go with maybe a 27-21.
Chiefs.
Chiefs, yeah.
Caleb?
I'm going with my boy Jared Goff. I have not forgotten you, my man. I remember what you did for me. I think Lions win this game 34-27. And I think this is a statement game for the Lions. They're going to come out fired up. And it doesn't honestly mean anything to the Chiefs. Like, what's it mean to the Chiefs?
I agree.
Like,
Yeah.
I think it means so much more to the Lions than it does to the Chiefs. And I think the Chiefs are going to have to figure out their new identity. Like, especially if they don't have Kelce. Like, if they don't have Kelce, that cements my pick.
And they don't have Chris Jones.
If they do have Kelce and
Yeah.
Chris Jones, that's a big one.
I didn't think about Chris
If they do
Jones.
have Kelce, then I say, like, the Chiefs are probably going to win, but I'm still going to pick Detroit just because I'm believing in you, Jared Goff. I believe in you.
Caleb, I really wanted to be the lone wolf on this one so bad. I just wanted to say I was going to have the Lions. You two could have the Chiefs. And I'm kind of getting nervous now that we're on the same page. Betting against Mahomes isn't a smart thing to do, but how's he going to do it? No Chris Jones, probably no Kelce. Kadarius Toney's going to get hurt at some point. I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
He can't stay healthy to save his life.
Yeah, I just wonder. That's what I want to know. I want to see who steps up for Kansas City. Like, Who's he gonna throw the ball to? Is Sky Moore gonna be a stud? Is Valdez Scantling gonna be a stud? Is Tony?
Yeah,
Kadarius Tony. Is he gonna stay healthy? I wouldn't put money on it.
Neither would I. But this is why, when I'm looking at this game, and the Chiefs, with Chris Jones over the last 7 years since he's gotten there, when he's in a lineup, they're a top 10 defense. When he's out of the lineup, they're not even top 25. And the Lions, Eagles have the best offensive line in football. Guess what? Lions are number 2. Yes, they lost David. They got rid of DeAndre Swift, and they got rid of Jamal Williams. But I really liked Jahmyr Gibbs' pick. He reminds me a lot of Austin Eckler. When you watch him in Alabama, they have similarities. He's just a little more of an elusive version of Eckler. While Eckler has a little more power to him. David Montgomery was a good pick. The problem is he can't ever really stay healthy. But without Chris Jones in that lineup for the Chiefs, they're not getting pressure on Jared Goff. And also, I don't remember if anybody remembers this game. I know, Caleb, you probably do. But Jared Goff once beat Pat Mahomes in the game kind of like this.
Big time.
And it came down to 2 things. Could you get pressure on the quarterback? And who didn't make mistakes? Say what you want about Jared Goff. When he's on, he don't make mistakes. And he has confidence. When he's confident, he's scared. And he kind of lost that confidence at the end of the LA Rams stint, but let me not get off topic. But
yeah, I don't love what McVay did there. I put a lot of that on McVay. I love McVay, but I think
and I kind of agreed with the take
well.
You came along with, Caleb. The Chiefs, yeah, it's a banner dropping game. That makes it a bigger deal than what it usually would be. But the thing is, this is the biggest game the Lions have played in 20, 25 years. I mean, yeah, they've had some playoff games, but
they play Thanksgiving like every year, right?
Yes, but the NFL
that makes it not special.
Some people care about.
Do you
that.
know how much pressure? Do you know how much it took for the NFL to say, you know who we want the Chiefs playing opening night? The Detroit Lions. If I would have told you last year at this time that the Lions would be playing on opening day versus the Chiefs, you know what you'd call me? Delusional, stupid, crazy. A year later, that's exactly what's happening.
That reminds me. Hey, NFL. First game of the season, Super Bowl rematch. It should be that every single season. Do it. I don't need credit. Just do it. We want to see Eagles Chiefs week 1. That's what we should have had.
Should have had it, and it would have, and we could have stopped hearing the excuse. It was the field. We couldn't get past.
I would have absolutely without a doubt watched that game.
You're not watching tomorrow night?
I mean, I'll turn it on, I guess, if I'm at home and have nothing else to do. But I'm not gonna I'm not gonna work my schedule around I really want to see this game.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I can't even say.
No one cares about Kansas City and Detroit. Come on, guys.
Yeah, who cares about them?
All right.
Anyway, I got the score 31-27 Lions. I think it's going to be a fun game to watch, really entertaining in the fourth quarter.
I think no matter who wins, it'll be fun to
Next
watch.
game.
Yeah.
We're going to go into the 2 teams we've kind of talked about both teams. Actually, we have. Dolphins at Chargers. Chargers are 3-point favorites, and I believe the spread's at, 51 over under.
Everybody healthy for the Chargers?
Everybody's healthy on both sides, pretty much.
Except for Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah.
I say Dolphins. Dolphins win 31-21. Brandon Staley, not a good coach. Good coach, just wasn't ready to be a head coach. It's crazy that he's still there, honestly.
He's going to get fired by the end of the season because I'm telling you this now. Herbert's going to have a good season, and they're going to have to pick between a defensive coach that doesn't have any defense or an offensive coach, Kellen Moore, and let him walk and go get a head coaching job somewhere else.
I'm just telling you, if he was Steve Wilkes, he'd have been fired.
Not wrong.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree. All right, Riley. So what would you have for score? I'm sorry.
31-21.
All right.
I think I got the Dolphins winning too, just because the Chargers fail to impress me every time that I want them to. So I think that the Dolphins, with having the better receivers, I think that they could make it out and actually win this game. But I think it'll be like a 10-point game, like 27-17, Chargers. Or not Chargers, Dolphins. Sorry.
I'll be the lone wolf on this. I'm taking the Chargers in for 2 reasons. One, it's in LA. That's a long trip for Miami.
It's a Miami home game.
You're probably right.
There's going to be more Miami fans than Chargers fans.
Here's the other thing. Under Herbert and Staley, the Chargers have never lost an opening game. Tua's never been great in the opening games. Last year they were kind of sluggish, and I just see Kellen Moore and the Chargers picking up the pace. I think it's going to be a good game, but it's going to be a little more defensive than people are going to give it credit for.
Kellen Moore doesn't have a superstar playing quarterback anymore, though.
not going to say Dak Prescott's better than Justin Herbert.
Hey, if I'm in a big game, I'd just as soon have Dak Prescott as Justin Herbert. Who's Justin Herbert?
It's like saying you'd take Kirk Cousins over Tom Brady.
That's nothing
That's
like that.
nothing at
Nothing
all.
like that.
Yeah, Herbert.
Tom Brady's won like 1 million Super Bowls. Justin Herbert's never won a playoff game. Justin Herbert's never won a game that matters in his life. Couldn't even do it in college.
You're telling me if the Rams, so let's say the Rams had an opening
If he wasn't a scrub, he'd have been number 1 overall
and
pick.
Dak and Herbert were both available, you'd take Dak Prescott over Justin Herbert.
Like, are they both free agents?
Yes, both free agents. You can have either one right now.
I mean, I might take Herbert because he's younger. But, like, if I've got a team that's ready to win right now, give me Dak.
The team has a top 10 running back. Give me Dak. If they don't, I want Herbert every single time.
All right, and keep watching team not make the playoffs.
So I have Chargers.
Then why is Herbert on the Chargers with Austin Eckler, who is
a
a top 10 running back?
No,
top
he's a top
2 or
10,
3.
No,
Yeah.
he's a top 10 receiving back. Running back? He's not a top pure running
He's
back.
good.
All I'm saying is he lines up behind the quarterback,
And he's very successful on offense.
and his
The
position
passing
title is
game-
running back.
in the passing game.
And he's got like 2 elite receivers when they're on the field. I'll give him that. Like
Yeah, last year
Keenan
they were-
Allen. I don't think Keenan Allen's ever going to stay healthy again, which is why I've abandoned picking him in fantasy. I used to love Keenan Allen because he just always put up, but he just
Once he just started getting older,
Dinged.
Just kind of started.
Yeah.
Once that hamstring goes,
hamstring.
it's hard to.
That's what scares me about Cooper Kupp, man.
I'm not gonna lie. I saw that. I was like, oof, that's a tough blow. For the
Dude,
Rams.
I knew when they extended Cooper Kupp, it was not the right move. Like my heart, was like, go ahead and give him that money. He's won the Triple Crown, best receiver in football. And I'm like, man, that is not going to be a good
But
contract.
that's where your peak is. Your Triple Crown. You can't do anything
Yeah.
better than that. You
Yeah.
won the Super Bowl Triple Crown.
You know what's crazy,
They
though?
rewarded him for what he did, not
Yeah.
what they thought he was going to
But
do.
here's what's
Yeah.
crazy. If you actually look at his numbers last year, if he were to stay healthy for 17 games, he would have actually had better numbers last year.
Which he
Really,
would have.
we
if
could-
it hadn't
Than the
been
years
for.
prior.
Yeah, we couldn't. That's what I was about to say.
He would have been healthy if it hadn't been for John Wolford.
So when we look back at his career and we see that he went
shouldn't
off,
be allowed on an NFL
John
field.
Wolford, hey, he's a Buccaneer. Oh no, he got cut.
This is the Josh
He's
Johnson
not,
of
he's
the
not even on the
Rams.
practice squad. All right, so I had 24-20 Chargers. Next game, Fox's game of the week. We're going to do Packers at Bears. Bears are 1-point favorites. In the betting world, that really means the Packers are 2-point favorites. The over/under is at 43. Right?
This one's a tough one to pick because Packers have a good defense. The Bears have a very unknown offense. Nobody really knows what they're going to be able to do. We think we do, but But so I think this is a very kind of whatever. But it's an opening game. The Bears are coming out trying to experiment with their new team. I guess kind of like the Chiefs are trying to find their new identity. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Packers on this one because this is Jordan Love's, I guess, first real start. This is his first start as him being a starter. So, I mean, I think this is a game where he needs to come out and prove himself as a good starter.
So I'm gonna take the Packers, but I'm gonna take like
14-10.
Yeah, I think it's going to be lower scoring as well. And I'd also say the Packers, just because I think that the Bears they've got a lot of new pieces on defense and new pieces in general. And I think it's going to take a little bit for that to gel. I mean, they did play some preseason snaps. They didn't take the Sean McVay approach, but I think the Packers win like 24-17, something like that.
So I'm also going to take the Packers. And for all the reasons you guys already said, I'm not really going to say much more. I have the Packers at 17-13. I just see this more as a defensive game just because Chicago, they added a lot of pieces to be more defensive. And the Packers we already know they have a top 15 defense in the league.
Yeah.
And Jordan Love, I think he'll be all right. I just want to see it
I do
before I put him going over like 30 points on somebody.
I feel like this game's the biggest mystery game out of the 5.
This is the
times.
game out of every game so far. This is the game I'm most intrigued with. I want to see this game.
Yeah, I don't think you know what either of those teams is, and that's what
No.
makes it interesting.
exactly.
And then our next game, we're doing Sunday Night Football. Cowboys are 3-point favorites against the Giants. Over/unders at 46.5 points.
Cowboys are favorites,
Yes,
and they're who's home?
Giants.
Giants are home, and Cowboys are favorite.
Giants haven't beat Dak Prescott since Dak was a rookie.
Well, he is an elite quarterback.
No, Jesus.
I'm wondering what's going to happen. I mean, I know they didn't really use Zeke as anything last season, but I'm wondering what's going to happen now because he's out of that running back spot completely. Like Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott have kind of been next to each other since they've been on since they got drafted. But now Zeke's not there, and Dak's on his own with Gallup and
Brandon Cooks and
Brandon
CeeDee
Cooks
Lamb.
and Lamb. Yeah,
I love Brandon Cooks, man.
Just can't stay healthy.
The dude's gonna put up.
I want to. Yeah, I really am excited to see.
see what he does with the quarterback.
Did you guys see? He's been in the league 10 years, and he's not even 20. He's not even 30.
Yeah, I saw that. He's
Yeah.
like 28 or 29.
29.
Yeah.
He seems like he's been in the league forever.
But yeah, I think
Wish he was a Ram.
He still should be.
Rams should have won that Super Bowl if had him for that cheap shot.
I think for this one I'll go
Patriots.
with the Cowboys because they've added Brandon Cooks to their already pretty good wide receiver core.
Don't forget they added Stephon Gilmore on defense.
Yeah, they do have Gilmore on defense, and now
He's never gonna play a full season again either.
that could be true. Yeah. So I'm gonna go with the Cowboys, and I think the Cowboys are gonna just take over, and I'm thinking like 24-45 or something like that, 24-42.
Whoa.
Ooh, we got a blowout on our hands according to Riley. All right, Caleb.
Okay.
Let me hear it.
Well, I already know what Christian's gonna say, and unfortunately, I have to agree with him. I think the Giants are gonna win this game fairly easily. I'm saying like,
Okay, I'm not going to go.
yeah, you're not gonna go easily, but I think Giants gonna win this thing like 35-14. Like I think the Giants are gonna win convincingly. I think they are going to find out. Pollard is going to find out that heavy is the head that wears the crown because he's alone now, and he's not going to have
And
big
he's coming off
Zeke.
of an
That's
injury.
true. He doesn't have a power back.
Right, he's not going to have big Zeke wearing the defense down for him, and I think, he's going to have a decent season, but it's just not going to be as. It's not going to be like you're not the fresh legs anymore coming in against a tired defense.
That's too small.
And so I think they are going to. I think he's going to struggle a little bit. I think elite quarterback Dak Prescott is going to be under pressure because
Wink blitzes everything.
yeah, Wink is a great defensive coordinator. The Ravens were idiotic to scapegoat him.
Yeah, they went from a top 10 defense in 2021 to a
Yeah,
bottom 20.
dumb.
Bottom 10
And hey, unpopular opinion. I think they were dumb for scapegoating Greg Roman. He created an offense that made Lamar Jackson an MVP. He did something completely different that no one else had successfully done at the time.
At the time.
And like
got predictable. That's why they had to let go.
it got predictable because the quarterback's predictable. What else can he do?
He can throw the football.
No, he can't.
It's never
He's Tim Tebow when he throws. Oh, sorry, Tebow.
Okay, 45% versus 63% completion percentage.
But go ahead and tell us that the Giants going to win because I know you're a Daniel Jones fanboy. You probably think he's going to win MVP.
All right, so I'm gonna use this is why I'm not even gonna bring up Daniel Jones in this reason they're gonna win. So last year, I wish the NFL would get away from the Sean McVay way of thinking of don't play your players in the preseason, because we found out last year in Week 1 when you don't play your starters in the preseason, you know what the records were? 1-11. That's what the numbers say. Teams that don't play their starters in the preseason suck on opening day. Why? Because of rust. The Cowboys didn't play any of their starters. The Giants played theirs.
I actually didn't know that. So
And then the Giants also added something. Darren Waller. Everybody forgets how good Darren Waller is.
Yeah, man, those are going to be a great 3 games.
I guarantee he plays 12 or more games.
See,
We need another bet on that.
I agree. Darren Waller is a very underappreciated tight end.
He's
And
the best
stud.
tight end in the division.
I think he is. I think he's underappreciated. But the problem is that with Darren Waller is you're getting like a maximum of like 5 games out of him. He's gonna be hurt for most of the season. That's why the Raiders gave up on him. That's why I don't even remember what team.
Yeah.
The Jags. Who did he go to?
So when he was drafted, he was undrafted wide receiver to the Ravens. He then signed
I
with
was
the
talking about
Raiders.
after the Raiders.
He was with the Raiders the whole time.
Oh, I thought he went somewhere else after that.
No,
Oh, okay.
he got
Just
traded.
IR
Oh, that's right.
every year.
But yeah, I mean, I just don't think he.
That's why the Raiders gave up on him. Other than the fact that they look like they're stripping their team, but it's like
So the reason I'm going to say he's going to be healthy, one, the way the Giants are going to use him, he's not going to be in those physical situations that he wasn't. They're not going to ask him to block. That's why Daniel Bellinger's there. When they want something run blocking done, they'll put in Bellinger. And Waller's going to get a lot of attention, but he's not going to get hit a lot. Now, I don't know if you guys were able to watch the Giants preseason game. Caleb, you watched some of it because I was at your house when it came on. The Giants were throwing to him every single play, and he didn't get hit all that much. Granted, it's preseason, but the other reason I'm going to say they're going to win this game is, who would you rather have, Mike McCarthy or Brian Daboll?
I guess.
And this is what has me very nervous with the Cowboys. Mike McCarthy's calling the plays. He hasn't called any offensive plays since 2018.
I'm good with that though.
This rule.
I mean, maybe yeah, for today, like for week 1, maybe
He's
I'm a little.
going to take some adjusting.
But like,
He'll be good by week 8.
Didn't Aaron Rodgers win the MVP when he was calling the plays? Obviously, that's Aaron Rodgers,
Rodgers.
It's like comparing Aaron Rodgers to Dak Prescott.
I mean, Dak Prescott's a good quarterback. He's
not even top 10.
I don't know. He's definitely top 10.
He's definitely not. So anyway, I got the Giants winning 24-21. This is going to be a defensive game because Stephon Gilmore's healthy. But let's not forget, this is what scares me about the Giants, but it could work out.
A'Shaun Robinson.
They're starting 2 rookie corners. The first-round pick in Devontae Banks, which we already knew who he'd start. They're starting a 6th-round rookie named Trey Hawkins, who has been amazing. He's an athletic freak. He kind of has that Tariq Woolen feel to him. Problem is, Tariq Woolen was in a zone defense last year, which can help him out. Wink Martindale's not playing zone. He is sending blitz after blitz after blitz.
That's true.
And I think Kayvon Thibodeau... This is what gets me angry, though. When everybody talks about these pass rushers going into year 2, they talk about Kayvon Thibodeau like he's some kind of bum, like he's just the third man down.
I think that...
And I'm like, excuse me, he was supposed to be the first-round pick before Aiden Hutchinson. Hutchinson got good his last year. Outside of that, he wasn't great. And then Trayvon Walker only got first overall pick because of what he got in the combine. He's not better than Thibodeau. Neither one of them are.
Dude, Thibodeau...
I said that when it happened. I think Thibodeau's the best of the three.
I think he is too. I think that that was a nice pick for the Giants, and I think he fits perfectly. But I also think that he's probably going to be the leader of that defense most of his career if he doesn't leave.
Well, they're not. He's not going to be the leader. They still have sexy Dexy Lexer. Let's not forget about that. Best defensive tackle in the league.
Who else they got on that defensive line?
Leonard Williams. They have.
They don't have Quinn and Williams. Do they have?
No,
Quinn and Williams on the Jets.
He's on the Jets. But they have a good defense. They have a great front 7. That's why if Wink played a little more zone, I wouldn't be shocked because they have a great front 4. They also added the linebacker from Indianapolis who led the league in tackles last year. What's his name? Wow.
I know who you're talking about.
58. I'm just going to call him number 58, but he's a beast. They have some good weapons, and they got Xavier McKinney at the safety. They're going to be a good team. Saquon's there. He's not going to be used as much. And this is what I hate hearing from the media right now. They're like, they should have paid Saquon. No, they shouldn't. You don't pay running backs.
Well, I also don't think that they should use Saquon as much anymore. I mean, you're seeing it now. Last season, they tried to put all the workload on him like they had been doing, and he burned out and got injured. Now you have Darren Waller. You have an offense that you can work with. Don't use him as much.
But here's what really frustrates me. They're like, Daniel Jones needs Saquon Barkley. Now, here's the crazy thing. You know when Saquon Barkley wasn't on the field, the Giants scored a touchdown on every single drive? Wow. But they tell you that he needs Saquon. That money Daniel Jones got should have gone to Saquon Barkley. And here's what I'm tired of hearing. That's a ludicrous contract. $40 million. And 2 years, you know what we're going to be saying? That was a bargain.
I think...
There he goes.
I also think that the thing with having Saquon on the field is for the name. I mean, you're looking at him, it's like, oh, Saquon Barkley on the field, let's give him the ball, do something with it, without realizing you have other people to give the ball to now. So I feel like when Saquon's off the field, Daniel Jones has to open up his eyes and actually pass, and that's why they score more. I'm not going to directly blame it on Saquon, but I also think that could be the reason why they score a touchdown on every single drive.
All right, so I had 21-24 Giants. We're going to move on to the last game because we've been doing this for a while. So the last game we have Bills at Jets. Bills are 2.5-point favorites. The over-under was 46.5. Jets are at home. I'll start this one off. I have the Bills winning 21-17. This is why I see this going this way. One, the Bills, they both played their starters in preseason. The Bills played theirs more. I trust Sean McDermott right now more than I do Robert Saleh. And I don't know what to think of Nathaniel Hackett. I don't know if last year I should blame him and Russell Wilson.
No, Russell Wilson sucks.
Should I just blame Wilson?
I've been telling you that for years.
Speaking of Russell Wilson, I'm sorry. I sent it to you, but I didn't send it to you. I guess McVay said Peyton said that he needs to
stop.
He needs to stop.
Russell Incorporation. He needs to stop kissing babies.
He needs to stop kissing the babies or something when he was talking about his media presence. And I sent it to Christian, and Christian was like, "This is gonna go well."
Oh, it's going to go very well. No, it's not. No, it's...
Yeah, he's going to put Russ in his place because he knows that Russ is an average quarterback.
Russell's going to be benched by week 9.
I feel if Russell could keep his face out of the media, like he said, he could actually focus on practicing and being better at his job, and he actually maybe could be a decent quarterback.
Who's their backup?
They just got the guy from Jarrett Stidham. There we are.
Yeah, he did really well.
He did.
Against the Rams, he did really well. But so did
Niners,
everyone
too.
else.
The Niners hadn't allowed more than 10 points in the game for like 6 straight weeks. He went in and put up 40. I was like, good
I was talking
Lord.
about the Rams preseason defense.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were talking about last season. I was like, I don't remember him playing.
They put up 43 points, 43-0. But the Rams did that to the Broncos last year in the regular season. So
On your Christmas. I know that was a good Christmas.
it was
I watched that game.
I watched it on Nickelodeon. I turned it off pretty fast. I was like, ugh.
stupid.
But anyway, I mean, it was. I just see the Bills being a better team. So they got rid of Leslie Frazier, the defense coordinator.
Yeah.
Sean McDermott's now taken over the duties as defense coordinator.
They got rid of Frazier?
Yeah, Frazier left. He resigned. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
So the reason I think they'll be better without Frazier is McDermott, when he was the defense coordinator, his main philosophy is getting pressure. The one thing under Frazier they always struggled with was getting pressure on the quarterback because they didn't blitz all that much. They're going to blitz a little more under McDermott, and I think Josh Allen is going to throw. I'm not going to say he's going to be a lot more turnover free this year, but I think he'll tune down the turnovers. I think he'll be a little more conscious and a little more accurate. The only thing that scares me with this game is I don't know how Stephon Diggs is going to do because I still think there's tension. I don't like that, but I have 21-17 Bills. I think it's going to be a fun game.
Because Stephen A.
I'm not really worried about Stephon Diggs because they also have Gabe Davis. They have what is it? Jared Cook is their running back now. James Cook. They have him now. I mean,
They also got Damian Harris from the Patriots.
They did get Damian Harris from the Patriots. I think that their offense is not built for Stephon Diggs to be the only target now. I think it's built for Josh Allen to be able to toss that ball around.
He drafted a tight end in the first round.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was the Bills that got him.
Yeah.
And they already had Dawson Knox, who also is a decent
12
he
personnel's
can
gonna
catch
be
as well.
coming.
Yep. And they could run. I mean, they could run double tight ends, and there's a lot more options for the Bills. I really don't think that they need. I really don't think that Stephon Diggs having that tension is going to make big of a difference. I think it'll make a big difference in his stats, though. I think that his stats will.
This is why I'm going to say that, because if he's unhappy and he starts becoming a cancer in that locker room, it's going to infiltrate over the rest of the receiving core and the offense, and that just is going to bring the aura down. And it's.
But I mean,
doesn't
I feel
go
like that's not. I mean, I don't think that's who Stephon is, like the cancer. You know what I mean? Because he kind of just left the Vikings when he wanted
Yeah,
to.
he pushed his way out,
He
though.
pushed his way out.
But I think that he could do that if he wanted to. I think he would do that with the Bills over destroying their entire team. So I think, but I still got the Bills winning this over the Jets. I think that it's going to be like, I'd go with like 30-21 or 30-17.
I can see that.
So I'm about to do something I don't want to do because I don't believe in Robert Saleh. Like I don't think he's the answer.
Neither do I.
But I'm picking the Jets because I am an Aaron Rodgers believer. And I think the Jets have got some good things going on as long as that offensive line stays healthy. And it's kind of thin. Like, you're relying on Becton to, like, stay healthy for longer than, 3 snaps in a row. The running game should be good. Is Breece Hall back for week 1? So you got Breece Hall and you got Cook. You got good receivers. I like Wilson. They got Lazard, right?
Yeah.
I think they're gonna miss Corey Davis.
They also have he retired.
That's why I said they're gonna miss him.
Mecole Hardman's there.
Yeah, Hardman's gonna be big. So I think this game is gonna be like a 28-24 Jets. I think Aaron Rodgers is gonna win the game. I want to say it's gonna be like 42-35, but I just think both those teams have a little bit too much talent on the defense. Particularly the Jets. I think if somebody's scoring 42, then the Bills are getting boat raced. Because I think it's going to be hard to put up that many points on the Jets unless they lose, like, Sauce, who's a stud. He's like...
Oh, I love watching Sauce.
Sauce is like what I thought Jalen Ramsey was going to be.
You guys never used him, right? Can we at least...
I know, but, I mean, it's just like... I thought Jalen Ramsey was going to be like young Darrelle Revis. And he's not. Sauce is much closer to Revis than Ramsey is. But I will admit that the Rams didn't use... Ramsey to the best of his ability.
The other thing is, when Ramsey was in L.A., you guys kind of struggled off and on with getting a consistent pass rush. Sauce Gardner so far has had a very consistent dominant pass rush in front of him. That makes life very easy on the quarterback.
Yeah, and he wants to play man, and he's allowed to play man. They're not asking him to just roam in space.
Pretty much play safety.
Yeah.
So what did you have your score?
what did I say?
28-24.
28-24.
I think that it could be very close.
Well, it's going to be a very fun week 1 in the NFL.
It is going to be a fun game to watch.
Please like, please subscribe. And until next time.
To be continued. Was that an hour long?
Oh, that was definitely an hour. That might have been an hour.
No, it's just an
What are
hour
we?
and 10 maybe.
What are we, John Boy?
Oh,
I figured we had
What are we talking?